Long ago, in a quiet village, there lived a kind man and his wife. The wife was going to have a baby, and she wished for a special herb called rampion that grew only in the magical garden behind their house. One night, the husband could not bear his wife's longing any longer. He climbed over the garden wall and carefully picked some of the glowing rampion leaves for her. But just as he was about to leave, a terrible voice thundered, "How dare you steal from my garden?" It was the wicked witch who had caught him red-handed. The poor man fell to his knees and begged, "Please, forgive me. My wife was hungry, and I only wanted to help her." But the wicked witch hissed, "You may go if you promise me your first child when it is born." Trembling with fear, the man agreed, not knowing the terrible price he would one day pay. At last, their hearts were filled with joy, for at last a baby girl was born. Her parents named her Rapunzel, and her golden hair glowed as brightly as the morning sun. But the happiness did not last. The wicked witch returned to claim her terrible bargain. No matter how the poor parents begged and cried, she took baby Rapunzel away and vanished into the night. As the years passed, Rapunzel grew into a sweet and curious little girl. Her golden hair shone like sunshine, and she longed to explore the world beyond the tower. But the witch kept her locked away, never letting her step outside. As Rapunzel grew older, her hair became even longer and more magical. When she sang, her golden hair glowed like sunshine, filling the tower with warmth and light. The birds loved her songs, but Rapunzel still dreamed of the world outside. One day, the old witch came to the tall, tall tower. She looked up and shouted, "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair!" Rapunzel's shining golden hair fell all the way to the ground, and the old witch began to climb, higher and higher up the tower wall. One day, a kind prince rode through the forest. Suddenly, he heard the sweetest song he had ever known. He stopped to listen, and there, high above the trees, he saw a girl with golden hair singing from a tall tower. The prince peeked through the trees, and there she was, a beautiful girl with golden hair, singing high above from a tall tower. The prince could hardly believe his eyes, for her voice was as magical as her shining hair. The prince hid behind the trees and watched. To his surprise, an old woman called out, "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair!" Rapunzel leaned out and let her golden hair tumble down. It sparkled like sunlight, flowing all the way to the ground. The witch took Rapunzel's golden braid and climbed with ease, rising higher and higher toward the tower window. From the shadows, the prince watched in amazement, his heart filled with wonder. The prince's heart beat faster. He had seen the truth with his very own eyes. Rapunzel's shining golden hair was the ladder that carried the witch to the tower. He stepped closer, his heart filled with wonder and hope. "Tomorrow," he whispered softly, "I will try the same, and maybe I will meet the girl whose voice shines brighter than the stars." The very next morning, the prince returned to the hidden tower, his heart racing with excitement. He remembered exactly the words the witch had spoken the night before. Standing tall, he called out clearly, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair!" To his amazement, the golden braid tumbled down, glowing in the morning light like a rope spun from pure sunlight. The prince held tightly and began to climb, hand over hand, never daring to look down. Higher and higher he rose, until the forest below looked tiny and far away.
Rapunzel's heart beat fast as she watched from the window, her eyes wide with wonder. At last the prince reached her side, and for the very first time their eyes met. Instead of fear, Rapunzel felt safe, and as they spoke softly, she realized she was no longer alone in the world.
Day by day, the prince returned. He brought flowers to make her smile, told her stories of lands she had never seen, and listened to her dreams. Soon Rapunzel and the prince shared a secret promise. One day they would leave the tower together and find freedom. But one day the witch discovered Rapunzel's secret. She stormed into the tower, her eyes flashing with anger. Poor Rapunzel trembled, clutching the flowers the prince had given her. The witch's heart was full of jealousy and rage, for she knew Rapunzel had found true friendship, and perhaps even love. With a heart full of jealousy, the witch raised her silver scissors and cut off Rapunzel's beautiful golden hair. The magic shimmered one last time, then faded away. Poor Rapunzel wept, her shining crown of hair gone forever. The wicked witch carried Rapunzel far away and left her all alone in a wild, lonely desert. Her beautiful hair was gone, and so was her home. Poor Rapunzel wept, but deep in her heart she still dreamed of freedom and love. Prince called out to Rapunzel and climbed using her hair, but it was not Rapunzel waiting in the tower window. The wicked witch had set a cruel trap, and the prince was about to discover her terrible plan. The poor prince fell into the cruel thorns below, and his eyes were blinded. Alone and in pain, he wandered far from the tower, with only his sorrowful songs to guide him. Far away in a lonely desert, Rapunzel lived in exile with her little children. Though her days were filled with sorrow, her heart was full of love, and her song still carried the magic of hope. Blinded and lost, the prince wandered far and wide. Though his eyes no longer saw the world, his heart never stopped searching for Rapunzel. His song of sorrow carried through the forest, a melody of love and hope. And then, as if guided by fate, the prince heard a voice he thought he would never hear again. Rapunzel's song, a melody of love, led him home. Rapunzel's tears, filled with love, carried a magic stronger than any spell, and they healed the prince's sight. Together again, Rapunzel and the prince shared a love that nothing could break. With their little ones by their side, they knew their happily ever after had just begun. And so Rapunzel returned home to her poor but loving family. She was no longer the lost girl in the tower, but a daughter reunited with those who had always loved her. The kind prince went back to his own kingdom, where he ruled with wisdom and kindness. Though Rapunzel's family had little, their hearts were rich with joy, for love had triumphed over darkness. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new one. More amazing stories coming your way.